the Department of Statistics. Your information is all there. What does it tell you? It tells you that in the last few years, all your incomes, all of you have become poorer. So the rich people have become richer. How do we know the rich have become richer? Well, the statistics here tell us. But there's another statistic, and that is the ministers' pay. The ministers are very smart. They make sure that their salaries are not pegged to your salaries. They make sure that their salaries are pegged to the richest 6 professions in the country. If the rich 6 professions earn more money, then we will earn more money. That's what they are saying. And so you have the situation where our ministers are paid $4,000 a day. Our Prime Minister pays himself $160,000 a month. 3 times.
Are you doing it
I ask you to think.
or you are
3 times
authority?
more than the President of the United States of America.
Excuse me.
That's how much he pays
You're doing it
himself.
what? With the police or what?
When
Then?
he goes to the office,
What,
he has
ISD?
time to take him to the
What?
office.
Then what?
When he's hungry,
Your owner?
he has a kitchen
Sure.
in his sauna to prepare food for
What
him.
about? Read lah. You support us?
When he wants to travel, he takes first class in SIA, all of the expenses of who? His own money? His own pocket? No. Your money. You are paying for his luxury. But when you pay for his luxury, what does he do? He thinks of you. If he really thinks of you, would you be in this difficult position today, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you once again, listen very carefully. If your life is so good, if Singapore is so prosperous, then why on earth do we have an average of 1 Singaporean committing suicide every day? You don't believe me again? Go check out the website. Even the government has admitted it. Every day, 1 Singaporean is committing suicide. And many more try to commit suicide, but they don't succeed. For everyone that succeeds in taking his own life, 17 others don't succeed. Why? Why is it in a country where our ministers are millionaires, when our Prime Minister pays himself 3 times more than the President of the United States, do we have citizens committing suicide at the rate of 1 every day? We have a record number of bankruptcies today. Record number of bankruptcies in the history of Singapore. We have thousands of households who are so poor they cannot even afford to buy a house, to buy a 3-room flat, to rent an HDB flat. Then you know what Mr. Lee Kuan Yew says? Mr. Lee Kuan Yew says that you go to New York City, and I'm quoting him, all right? You will find this published else in the newspapers. He has said, you go to New York City, you go to Broadway, and you see all the beggars on the streets, New York City in the U.S. In Singapore, where are the beggars? Where are the homeless people? Show me. All right. What is this, my friends? And these are just a small sample. We don't have space to put all the photographs of the homeless people in Singapore. People who don't have a place to go. People who don't have food to eat. People who don't have families to come to. And yet we have a Prime Minister that pays himself $160,000 a month. Why? One reason is that because you citizens nothing but the truth. Everything that I've said, you can verify it, either in the newspapers or go and visit the government website. It's all there. It is because the ministers are all millionaires that they don't understand your difficulties. You remember NKF? You remember TTBY, the CEO of NKF? And how much he's paying himself? He's paid himself $600,000 a year. Think about it. And when he's found out that he's paying himself $600,000 a year, you know what Mrs. Goldchop said? You remember? Mrs. Goldchop says $600,000 is peanuts. $600,000. Is that peanuts to you? The millionaire, to them, of course $600,000 is peanuts. But they dare to utter such words because they don't understand your difficulty. So who's going to speak up for you? The PAP? The PAP has been in charge, has been overwhelmingly in Parliament. You heard a word about them saying how difficult your life is? No. It's us. Here, the Singapore Democrats, my colleagues at the SVP, we are willing to stand up here, to speak up for you. We don't mind the sacrifice. To us, that's a minor inconvenience. But we need your support. In this election, we need your support. Expenses for the elections is very, very high. We cannot compete with the PAP because they depend on the millionaires. We don't depend on millionaires. We depend on you. And so we're here this afternoon, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Singaporeans. Help us. Help us speak up for you. Buy a copy of the New Democrat. We're selling at $2. Every cent that we raise from selling our New Democrat goes into paying for our election expenses, to paying for the sports stadium, the printing of our posters, the renting of vehicles. All these need money. We don't ask a lot. If each of you can support democracy, buy a copy of the New Democrat for $2. It will help, because that is going to be your voice. Don't just read the Straits Times, don't just watch the TV. They're all controlled by the PAP. Read whether there is the truth in here. Read about information that the government will not tell you. Help us to speak up. Help us to help you. Because without democracy, there can be no opposition. And without opposition, I guarantee you the government will bully you even more. And if you think life is hard right now, think about it in the next 5 years, when you continue to do without an opposition. You look at Taiwan, you look at Hong Kong, you look at Korea. None of the citizens continue to have their wages cut, while the ministers' pay continue to increase their own salaries. Only here in Singapore. And why? Because we don't have an opposition to keep the government, to keep the PAP in check. So help us. Help us speak up for you. Buy a copy of the New Democrat. We don't earn a single cent